Good morning. So, welcome back or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. This is day 3 of self love. And so, one of the nights when I was teaching yoga, maybe 2 weeks ago, one of you guys came up to me and said, the fact that it was self love that we couldn't practice, the irony of it, that the sense of like we could do empower, we could do power, we could do focus, we could do all these different things, but self love was the one that was taken out. And it really left me thinking, that, all the things that get in the way of self-love, mostly ourselves and the phrases and the ways that we communicate with ourselves deep, 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 deep in there. And I've been journaling, writing, wondering, where does the seed of self-love come from within me? How do I cultivate that? How do I inspire it? How do I soften my inner language or my inner voice of myself? And so what's your journey with this? I was asking you yesterday at the end of the class, how do you do this? Because it's you relating to yourself. It's like, Jeannie Mackers, it's just such a deep place. So have your tins because we're going Tin-Tastic today. Yeah. So come sit on your mat. Come. Have your tins handy. And then just start by rounding your back and dropping your head forward. And then bring your fingers behind you and lean backwards and open into your chest. Nice. And then round forward, bring your hands forward. And then bring your hands back. And I'm not throwing my head back actually. I'm just opening into my shoulders and spine. So rounding forward, bring your hands back. And my head is not going backwards. I don't like throwing my head backwards. I don't find it to be a functional movement for me. So I just feel leaning back and forward. Nice. Twist towards the right. And just pause there, twisting. Breathe deeply into your belly. Notice how your spine is. What is it like to start the class in a seated position? How do you feel? What's different about this? Do you resist beginning the class in a seated position? Do you enjoy starting the class in a seated position? Nice. Go to the other side. And just twist. So wonderful. Wiggling your toes, wiggling your eyebrows. Have a sense of what your eyes can see. We're always, regulating our nervous system, including sight, our senses, the feeling of our body. Just dropping us deeper into safety, deeper into parasympathetic. Nice. Come back to center. Roll your shoulders. As your shoulders roll, feel your rib cage again. Nice. And roll. Super. Bring both hands over towards the right. Bring your nose down to the right. Bring your both hands to the left. Bring your nose down in the direction of the floor on the left. And just travel from side to side. As always, you're listening to your shoulders. And if one side goes, oh, I don't want to go any further than that, then that's where you go to. It's not about following instructions in spite yourself. It's following instructions that suit you, that you adapt to, that are an expression of your wellness. Nice, come back to center. So we're going to practice a little bit in seated, what we're going to do in standing, okay? So have your 2 tins and have them. So when I say, in this context, when I say lawnmower, it's where your elbows are just beside your waist and your palms are face up, or they're there, you know what I mean? So there's a sense of a 90-degree angle in my arms, okay? And then we're going to do elephant with the right arm. So we turn our tin upside down and we swing the tin over towards the left. And then we come back to lawnmower, center, and then swing your left tin upside down and elephant to the right with the left arm. So just travel. Elephant to the left with the right arm, elephant to the right with the left arm. And because you're not bringing your hands to the floor, you have to stabilize and balance with your waist. It's not as big as a movement. If your hand was on the floor, you could really go for it. But here, the opposite waist has to counterweight the movement. Nice. Come back to center. Cool. So from here, reach both arms forward. Bend your elbows, reach both arms up, and then pull your elbows down into swan. Nice. Both arms up. Bend your elbows, reach both arms forward. Bend your elbows. And so how long is your spine? Are you creating length? Bend your elbows forward. Are you sitting deeply into your sit bones? Bend your elbows up. And so for me, there's a difference in my spine between going forward with my arms, bend your elbows, and then when I go upward with my arms, it's like I can lift in a different way through the whole of my spine. One more time. Bend your elbows and then forward. Bend your elbows and then up. Cool. So come back to neutral, come back to lawnmower, and then go under. So you're at bowls of water. Bring your arms under, your hands under, and they go wide. You round your forehead down towards your knees. Under and out. Under, rounding forward, arms go wide, back to front. Under, out, chest lifts, arms go wide, palms are face up. Again, one more time. Under, wide, forehead drops down. Under, wide, but your arms are now face up and you're leaning into your chest. Pause there for a moment. Just feel the weight of your tins, the length of your chest, the stretch into your heels. Open your toes. Lift your eyebrows. Just have a sense of engaging. Nice. Come all the way in. Come into your cat pose. So we've been sitting for a while, so we're just going to engage into the lower back, rounding your back and arching your back. Rounding your back and arching. So I always say this. It's one of my funny jokes. It's that, if you have a floor at home, are you sitting on your floor as a daily practice? That sitting on your floor, people often ask me, what can I do to make my hips stronger or to make my hips more flexible? What can I do to strengthen my lower back? How do I move easier in my life? And sitting on the floor will cause that to happen. Because A, you're standing up and down off the floor, using your hands, your feet. B, you're sitting on the floor, which really makes you strengthen things straight away because you're using the strength of your spine to hold you up. Your hips have to open because your legs are there, all squished up underneath you. And so what kind of daily practice do you have where you sit on the floor? A few more times. Rounding your back, tuck your chin under. Arching your back. Well, there's this, of course, But in your do you watch TV? Do you listen to the radio? Do you knit? Do you text from the floor? What do you do? How do you include the floor in your daily life? Nice. Sit your bum all the way back. Pause in your child's pose. Breathing into your belly. That idea yesterday that I was talking about, that we're practicing fluidity, not rigidity. So right now, as you feel into your child's pose, can you feel a sense of fluidity, or are you pushing a little bit hard? If you feel like you're pushing hard, then ease off. Soften what you're doing. So the practice that we have here is a continuity of practice. So we keep turning up every day, and that's the practice. Whereas if you only practice once a week or once a month, people tend to push hard, but then they don't struggle because they don't struggle to do it again the next day because anything that's sore, they don't have to meet it. So you don't want to push too hard because you have to come back here again tomorrow. So come all the way up, push back into your downward dog. I'm talking loads today. Anyways, so continuity of movement. There's two things. So continuity of movement is where you want to move until you're 90 or 95. So one is do no harm. Do nothing today that'll stop you doing the same thing tomorrow. So if you do too much gardening, then you won't be able to garden again tomorrow. Whereas if you did an hour and a half of gardening today, you could definitely do an hour and a half of gardening tomorrow. So it's having a sense of the long-term gains of practicing over time. The other one is always moving forward. So always looking at, oh, my knee is sore, but I can do that thing while sitting on a chair. Or if I bring this thing out, then I can do that. Or I can do this, or I can do that. It's finding ways around things in wholesome ways. Keep pulling your heels down towards the floor, lifting your heels, dropping your heels. It is a really deep practice of self-love, continuity of movement, or longevity of movement. It's trusting that being well, being steady is actually the truest path to wellness. And pull your heels down and lengthen. Nice. So come all the way up to stand and grab your tins as you go. Cool. So I'm going to stand sideways to do this because it's easier for you to see. So your arms are straight. So swing your arms a little bit back and then bend your elbows. And then swing your arms back and then bend your knees and your hands go forward with your arms straight. Swing your arms back, bend your elbows, swing your arms back, swing your arms forward, bend your knees. So back, bend, back, forward, back, bend, back, forward. So check out how far, so I want to bring my feet further apart as I do this. Back, bend, back, forward, back, bend, back, forward, back, bend, back, forward, back, bend, back, forward. One more time. Back, bend, back, forward. How cool. So we're going to do something similar, but we're going to do it by lifting one leg, okay? So you can either just come up onto the toes of that foot or you can lift your foot off the floor with your knee bent, okay? So back, bend, back, and then as you go forward, either bring your toe to the floor or lift your knee and pause. Balancing. Nice. Same leg again. 2 feet down, both arms back, bend, back. Same leg again, lift. Breathing down into your belly. Find your steadiness. Nice. Foot to the floor, other leg this time. Back, bend, back. Other leg lifts. Me, it's my left leg now that's lifting. You can just have your toe on the floor or you can have your leg lifted off the floor completely. Nice. Back, bend, back, forward. Pause. Nice. Foot to the floor. How cool. So bring your feet so they're a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Turn your toes towards the left and then sweep your right arm straight over towards the left. And I'm up onto the toes of the right foot, okay? Come back to center. Your elbows are in the center. Turn your toes towards the right and then sweep your left arm towards the right. You can be on your toes or you can even lift your back toe if you want to. Center, turn your feet, reach over towards the left. Center, turn your feet, reach over towards the right. So you can either sweep your arms straight or you can bend your elbows between. So if you're bending your elbows between, it does protect your shoulders. If you feel like your shoulders are very strong, then you can do it with your arms straight. Okay, just see. And so you only go as far as your shoulder height. You're not going any higher than that. So you're sweeping. It's a bit like water whooshing. Linda, you love this. Nice. Next time you go over, whichever way you've gone, pause. So I found my balance. Back leg is lengthening, either your toes on the floor or your leg is up. Front arm is reaching. And then try and reach a little bit further, like you're trying to hand somebody a cup, the other side of a chasm. You're like, oh, I can hand it to you. And you're reaching a little bit further. Nice. Come back. Other side, reach. And then balance. Stay there or reach a little bit further. How would you hand somebody a cup a little bit further? Like, there you go. Here. I love gestures. They really it's like, oh, there's so many layers of me connected into this movement suddenly. Like my eyes are engaging. I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm engaging with something else to hand them something. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Oh, roll your shoulders, come back to center. Nice. Tin-Tastic is cool. Roll in the other direction. So if you're feeling like your shoulders are getting tired, then I would say drop your weights and continue without your weights. If you're feeling, no, I feel well, then continue with weights. Okay. So always gauging what you want to do. Bring all your weight into your right foot, bend your right elbow. And then reach your right hand up towards the ceiling and reach, like you're trying to hand something up to somebody. You can, don't look up. For me, that's too wobbly. But you kind of like, oh, how would I like put that up on the shelf above me? Nice, come back. Other side, bring all your weight to your left foot, bend your left elbow, and then try and put it up on the shelf, way up to the left. How is it to look? How do you look where you're reaching? And come all the way down. Nice. Come sit on your mat. All the way down. Come into a cross-legged position with your right foot on the outside. Nice. Pause. Just feel your breath. Drop your shoulders. Smile. Nice. And then take that right leg and you're going to spiral it into a zigzag. So your right knee is going to move back. And so your 2 feet are over towards the right and your 2 knees are to the left. So if you sit on the floor a lot, this is a gesture that you'll do. So I tend to be, all my offices, I keep them all on the floor. I have all these low tables. And so I'll be sitting for a while like this, and then I'll go, oh, that's a bit tiring. And then sweep your right foot back. So you're back into a cross-legged position. Be typing away, and then I'm like, oh, I need to change. Bring your right knee out. So you're into zigzag again. And then bring your right foot in, back into cross-legged. Cool. Stretch your legs out long, roll into your ankles. Roll in the other direction. Come into a cross-legged position with your left foot on the outside. And just pause. Nice. And then spiral your left leg into zigzag. Type, type, type. Spiral your left leg back into cross-legged. Type, type, type. Spiral your left leg out, zigzag. Type, type, type. Spiral your left leg in. Nice. Stretch both legs long in front of you. Super. So you're going to bend both knees so your feet are wide, and then drop both knees to the right. And then bring your left hand behind you and sweep your right hand from your right foot to your left foot to your left knee, and then point at the wall behind you. Nice. Pull your right elbow back into lawnmower, really deeply pulling back. And then straighten your arm towards your right foot and then sweep your arm all the way back to point behind you. Bend your elbow into lawnmower. Last one. Hand to your foot and then sweep into a circle pointing behind you. Cool. Other side. Back to center. Feet are wide. Drop both knees to the right. Bring your right hand behind you. Left hand rests on your left foot and then sweep your hand in a circle so that it's pointing at the wall straight back behind you. Pull your elbow into lawnmower and then sweep. Pull your elbow into lawnmower and sweep. Super cool. Come lie on the floor, all the way down. So land on the floor, knees are bent, or your soles of your feet are together, or your legs are long and flat, and just bring your hands to your belly and deepen your breath into your belly and just feel like, so we haven't laid down yet in the class. And so this is a really like this moment. I don't have any other name to call it, but I call it the moo cow moment or the moo cow feeling. So for me, there's a sound that emerges from my deep belly and deep lower back, not out through my mouth, but from my pelvis that goes, oh. And so right now, as you lie here and you let your spine settle and you let your lower back settle because we've been up, something goes, oh. So it's really important to lie down at the end of yoga. It's an amazing practice of self-love. Same thing when I'm out in the garden. Suddenly I'll go, oh, lie down. And I lie down and it's like, yum. So I will see you all tomorrow. Be well, be awesome, be you. And yeah, notice how do your inner landscapes, like, you know, if it was a garden, is it full of flowers and green, or is it a bit empty? Or, you know, what kind of landscape are you living in the deep of yourself? What are the voices in your own head? Are they supportive, nurturing? How's your voice to yourself? I'll see you all tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for being here. It's really wonderful. Great. Ciao, ciao.